Zurubang, Ultimate Battle Royale of everything and more. Battle 17. Act 1. The arena opens. A crystalline swoom reverberates through dimensions as the dome manifests. Part thunder, part wind chime, part the sound of 1,000 candy wrappers being torn open simultaneously. The biome blooms into existence, rolling hills of compressed cotton candy in shades of pink and electric blue, lollipop trees with spiraling trunks jutting from gummy soil, rivers of liquid caramel snaking between gumdrop boulders. The air smells aggressively of artificial strawberry. Zurubang descends from the apex of the dome, golden coat flowing like liquid sunlight, forearms spread wide in eternal welcome, eyes burning with ancient amusement. His voice carries to every corner of existence. Welcome, fragments of infinite stories, to the arena where all narratives collide. Today we fight in a world so sweet it might actually kill you. And not in the fun way. Millions of spectators roar from crystalline stands that seem to exit in 17 dimensions at once. Fans from every universe, every timeline, every possibility, losing their minds before a single punch has landed. Zurubang's forearms gesture dramatically as each fighter materializes. F-tier, from the Mushroom Kingdom, Shyguy, the masked enigma, perpetually startled, surprisingly committed to violence despite zero combat training. A small creature materializes atop a cotton candy hill, wobbling slightly. Its mask conveys emotions it probably doesn't even have. It looks around. It immediately wants to leave. From the cold void of space, Facehugger Egg, patient horror, biomechanical lottery ticket, definitely not a decorative prop. An egg, leathery, faintly pulsing. It sits beside a gumdrop boulder like it was always there. A concerned murmur runs through the audience. People who recognize it are already gripping their armrests. E-tier, from the Nazi-occupied France, SS-Standartenführer Hans Landa, the Jew hunter, the detective who smiles while he destroys you, weaponized charm in a leather coat. Landa materializes with his cap perfectly set, Walther P-38 holstered at his hip, surveying the field with the calm, twinkling amusement of a man who has never once doubted his own intelligence. He removes his gloves one finger at a time. Half the crowd boos. He seems delighted by this. C-tier, from the tall grass of Kanto, Ivysaur, the seed Pokémon, halfway too terrifying. That bulb isn't a backpack. Ivysaur lands heavily, its clawed feet digging into gummy soil. The bulb on its back pulses with stored solar energy, vines coiling and uncoiling at its sides. It growls, low, territorial, already mapping threats. From the British Special Forces, Cammy, Delta Red's deadliest, the killer bee, thighs that have ended geopolitical conflicts. Cammy materializes in a combat-ready crouch, scanning, indexing, prioritizing. She exhales once. Her braid doesn't move. B-tier, from the arenas of Gyeri Prime, Feyd-Rautha Harkonnen, the Na Baron, arena-bred killer, disturbingly pretty psychopath. Feyd appears with short blade already drawn, pale skin almost glowing against the candy-colored nightmare around him. He looks at the cotton candy hills with open contempt, then smiles when he sees the other fighters. Contempt replaced by appetite. A tier! Zurubang pauses. Two of his forearms rise slowly. From Republic City, the bridge between worlds, master of all four elements, Avatar Korra! The relentless breaker of chains and jaws, spirit-touched brawler who will absolutely punch a god. Korra materializes mid-stride, fists already clenched, water tribe boots cracking the candy ground. Wind swirls around her without being asked. She grins, not politely, not diplomatically, like a fighter who just heard the bell. And finally, from the depths of Soul Society, the temperature drops. The cotton candy nearest to the arrival point withers. Captain of Squad 12, Mayuri Kurotsuchi! Mad Scientist Supreme! Ethics are for the unimaginative. The man who considers genocide a methodology. Mayuri appears without fanfare. He simply is, suddenly, as if he'd always been standing there and everyone else had failed to notice. His golden eyes move across each fighter with the warmth of a microscope. "Oh," he says softly, "an avatar. How wonderful! I've never dissected one of those." Act 2. Perception of the fighters. Shyguy takes one look at the roster and begins vibrating with pure existential dread. No plan, no strategy, just a small masked creature surrounded by killers in a world made of candy. The Facehugger Egg doesn't think, it detects. Biological signatures, warm, breathing, available. Something inside shifts. Landa folds his hands behind his back, eyes moving between fighters with leisurely precision. "Fascinating company," he murmurs. "Absolutely fascinating." Ivysaur crouches low, bulb angling toward what passes for sunlight inside the dome. Threats everywhere. The pale one smells like poison. The painted one smells like wrong. Ivysaur's vines tighten. Cammy's assessment takes 2 seconds. The avatar is the primary threat. The scientist is the unknown variable. The Harkonnen is manageable. The rest... She dismisses them with a micro-adjustment of her stance. Feyd-Rautha rolls the blade between his fingers. The soldier, the plant, the bender, and whatever that is. He looks at Mayuri. Everyone else is appetizer. Korra cracks her knuckles. She can feel the elements even here. Moisture in the cotton candy, minerals in the gumdrop boulders, heat from the arena lights, air everywhere. All right, who wants to go first? Mayuri adjusts his collar, cataloging. An avatar? Unparalleled elemental manipulation, documented spirit connection. A xenomorph egg. Exquisite reproductive biology. A grass poison type. I've been meaning to study photosynthetic combat organisms. His painted smile widens. Today is going to be productive. Act 3. Unspeakable horrors wrapped in candy paper. Zurubang's forearms rise. May the ultimate battle royale begin! Everything moves. Cammy launches first, a spiral arrow rocketing toward Feyd-Rautha because Delta Red doesn't wait and the Harkonnen has "Kill me second" written all over his smug face. Feyd sidesteps, barely, and their fight erupts across a field of lollipop trees, blade against boots, aristocratic murder art against military precision. Korra goes big immediately. She rips a wave of liquefied caramel from the nearest river and sends it crashing toward Mayuri, who flash steps sideways, reappearing 10 meters away without apparent effort. Elemental manipulation through spiritual conduit, Mayuri observes, dodging a follow-up boulder of compressed gumdrops. The response time is remarkable. I'll need your nervous system intact when I collect it. You're welcome to try, Korra snarls, and the ground beneath Mayuri's feet erupts upward. And in the chaos, unnoticed by all, the Facehugger Egg opens. 4 fleshy petals peel back, 8 segmented legs unfold. A tail uncurls, muscular, precise, patient. The facehugger crawls out and tastes the air. Organic life. Close. The nearest signature, small, warm, breathing fast. Shyguy. The facehugger scurries across the cotton candy terrain with horrible biological purpose, moving low and fast, every movement a million years of predatory evolution compressed into arachnite urgency. It leaps and lands directly on Shyguy's face. Its legs wrap around the back of Shyguy's head. Its tail coils around the small creature's throat. Its underside presses against the mask. Smooth, sealed, no mouth access, no nasal passage, no entry point. The facehugger adjusts, probes, tightens its grip, pushes harder, tries from the left, tries from the right, the tail squeezes, the ovipositor extends and meets nothing but cold, featureless ceramic. Shyguy, for his part, is running in circles, screaming, "Ah! Oh no! Something is on my face! Something is on my face!" The facehugger, for perhaps the first time in its species' existence, encounters a problem evolution did not prepare it for. A face it cannot hug. It tries for 11 agonizing seconds. The crowd is howling. A facehugger, nature's most efficient parasite, defeated by what is essentially a decorative mask worn by a creature too scared to take it off. The facehugger detaches with what can only be described as a biological frustration and skitters away, scanning for a host with an actual face. Shyguy collapses, hyperventilating. Still alive, still masked, the universe's most accidental survivor. Across the field, Cammy and Feyd-Rautha are locked in a brutal exchange. His blade opens a cut along her forearm. Her cannon spike cracks 2 of his ribs. They're evenly matched in speed, but Cammy has training where Feyd has cruelty, and training wins margins. Landa, meanwhile, has done what Landa does best. Absolutely nothing visible. He's positioned himself behind a gumdrop boulder, watching every fight with academic interest. Walther P38 drawn, but unfired. He's waiting. Landa is always waiting. Mayuri, pressed by Korra's relentless elemental assault, pivots. Not away from the avatar, but toward Shyguy, who is still recovering from its facehugger encounter. "Ah, the masked one. Let's satisfy a curiosity, shall we?" He grabs Shyguy by the mask. The crowd leans forward. He lifts the mask. What he sees makes even the mad scientist pause for approximately 2 seconds. That I did not expect. He drops the body. "Shyguy, Eliminated by Mayuri Kurotsuchi. The broadcast helpfully censors whatever was under that mask. 13 audience members in the front row have been escorted to counseling. Cammy drives her knee into Feyd's solar plexus, doubling him over. "You're slower on the left," she says. "And you," Feyd gasps, trying to rise, blade still clutched. A gunshot cracks across the arena. Feyd-Rautha's eyes widen. He looks down at the hole in his chest, then slowly turns to see Hans Landa, 30 meters away, Walther lowered, smiling pleasantly. "My apologies," Landa calls out. "You were so beautifully distracted, it seemed almost rude to not take the opportunity." Feyd-Rautha Harkonnen eliminated by Hans Landa. Cammy stares at Landa, breathing hard. "That was my kill." "Was it?" Landa holsters his pistol with theatrical calm. "I believe it was everyone's kill. I simply had the good manners to finish it." He tips an invisible hat. "You're welcome." The facehugger, still searching, finds its host. Ivysaur never sees it coming. The seed Pokémon is focused on the fight between Korra and Mayuri, watching for an opening, Bulb charging solar energy, when 8 legs close around its face from behind. Ivysaur shrieks, vines lashing wildly, Razor Leaf firing in panicked arcs that shred cotton candy hills for 50 meters. Poison powder erupts from its bulb in a toxic purple cloud. None of it matters. The facehugger's grip is absolute. Ivysaur fights for 20 seconds, an eternity of thrashing, roaring, biological fury. Then its legs buckle. Then its eyes close. The facehugger's tail relaxes. Its purpose is complete. Mayuri is already there. "Exquisite," he whispers. "A grass poison organism as xenomorph host. The chloroplastic cellular structure combined with the xenomorph's adaptive genome." He produces a syringe filled with something luminous and deeply wrong. "My mixture should speed this process up tremendously. Let's see what a plant hybrid becomes." He injects Ivysaur. "What are you doing?" Korra demands, fire flickering across her fists. "Gardening," Mayuri says, and steps back. Act 4. Endgame. Remaining fighters. Mayuri Kurotsuchi, uninjured, scientifically aroused. Korra, fresh, furious, avatar state available. Uninjured, 4 bullets remaining, rapidly running out of people to hide behind. Cammy, arm laceration, combat ready. Ivysaur xenomorph hybrid, unknown. Ivysaur's body convulses. The facehugger detaches, dead, spent. And what happens next is not birth, it is bloom. The bulb on Ivysaur's back splits first, not with violence, but with the obscene patience of a flower opening at dawn. Except what unfolds is not petals. Black-green chitin plates rise from within, glistening wet, layered like the armor of something that was never meant to walk under any sun. The plates spread across Ivysaur's back, fusing with its hide, replacing teal skin with segmented exoskeleton that shimmers between forest dark and void black. Its legs elongate. What were stumpy, powerful Pokémon limbs become something architectural, double-jointed, tipped with claws that gleam like obsidian thorns. The vines don't retract, they multiply. They push through gaps in the chitin like roots breaking concrete, but each vine is now sheathed in translucent alien membrane, pulsing with acid green fluid that drips and hisses where it touches the candy ground, dissolving sugar into smoke. The head is the worst part. The worst and the most beautiful. Ivysaur's broad, honest face stretches into an elongated dome, smooth black chitin flowing backward like a dark lily in perpetual bloom. No eyes. Where Ivysaur's eyes were, two bioluminescent patches glow a deep chlorophyll green, not seeing but sensing heat, motion, and the chemical signature of fear. The mouth opens, and an inner jaw extends. But it's not the steel gray of a normal xenomorph. It's wooden. Calcified plant fiber hardened to the density of bone, ringed with thorns instead of teeth. And from the open bulb on its back, now a chitinous crown, a black cathedral of fused alien and plant architecture, spores begin to rise. Not Ivysaur's gentle poison powder. These are tiny dark bioluminescent motes that drift upward like inverted snow, each one carrying a payload of molecular acid and paralytic pollen. Where they land, the cotton candy doesn't just dissolve, it grows. Black fungal threads spread from each spore point, converting sugar into biomass, feeding the creature that released them. It stands, 6 feet at the shoulder, a thing of vines and chitin, of chlorophyll and acid, of the patient hunger of plants and the absolute predation of the xenomorph. It exhales, and the sound is a razor leaf cutting through a cathedral. Ivysaur, eliminated by Facehugger, accelerated by Mayuri Kurotsuchi. Mayuri is trembling with scientific joy. Photosynthetic xenomorph biology, it's converting light into energy and using predatory hunting instincts simultaneously. The spore dispersal mechanism alone. I need 14 samples. 15. Hans Landa looks at the hybrid. He looks at his Walther P38. He does the math. I believe, he says carefully, that a temporary alliance is in everyone's best interest. Shut up, Nazi, Korra says, and Earth bends him into a gumdrop boulder close to the alien creature. Not hard enough to kill, hard enough to make a point. Landa crashes against the boulder, winded. His pistol skids away. He reaches for it. The hybrid's vine tentacle wraps around his ankle. Landa, for the first time in the battle, loses his composure. He kicks, scrambles, claws at the candy ground. Now, let's be reasonable. This is not... I am not the threat here. The vine lifts him. The inner jaw extends. I can be of use to you, he manages. The hybrid disagrees. Hans Landa, eliminated by Ivysaur Xenomorph Hybrid. The crowd cheers, loudly. Some people brought champagne specifically for this moment. Landa's constellation forms overhead. Somehow, even as a pattern of stars, he looks indignant. Cammy and Korra exchange a look. 2 women, a nightmare plant alien, a mad scientist taking notes. Together? Korra asks. Cammy nods. The creature first. They charge in perfect, uncoordinated sync. Korra bending a wall of flame toward the hybrid, while Cammy flanks with a spiral arrow aimed at its legs. The hybrid moves like a nightmare vine in a hurricane. Its tentacles lash outward. One catches Cammy across the chest, slamming her into the ground. She rolls, gasping, ribs cracked. Its spores billow toward Korra, who blasts them away with a gust of airbending, but 2 land on her shoulder, burning through fabric. Korra grits her teeth and goes harder. She pulls moisture from the cotton candy itself. The whole biome is shuddering, and freezes it into a lance of ice that she drives through the hybrid's midsection. The creature screeches. Acid chlorophyll blood sprays. Korra earthbends a shield just in time, but the mist behind it wilts everything it touches. Korra earthbends a shield just in time, but the mist behind it wilts everything it touches. The hybrid regenerates. The wound knits shut with the black chitin and green vine flesh faster than before. It's learning, adapting. It metabolizes damage, Mayuri observes, making notes. The plant biology allows photosynthetic energy recovery, while the xenomorph genome handles structural repair. Remarkable! How sick are you? Korra roars. Cammy, broken-ribbed and bleeding, launches one final cannon spike at the hybrid's head. It connects, cracking chitin, staggering the beast. And a vine tentacle impales her through the shoulder, pinning her to a lollipop tree. Cammy doesn't scream. She looks down at the vine through her body, then at the hybrid's eyeless face. Not bad, she says. The hybrid's inner jaw extends. Cammy, eliminated by Ivysaur Xenomorph Hybrid. Korra screams. Not in fear, in rage. Her eyes begin to glow. The avatar state activates. Wind erupts in a cyclone that tears cotton candy hills from their foundations. The caramel rivers rise in spiraling pillars. The earth, gummy and crystalline, cracks and reshapes into weapons. Fire and air weave together into a vortex that makes the arena walls groan. Now we're talking, Zurubang murmurs from above. Avatar Korra descends on the hybrid like a natural disaster with a grudge. Elemental fury on a scale the arena has rarely seen. Earthen fists the size of cars, fire that burns white hot, ice and water cutting like surgical instruments, air pressure that would crush a submarine. The hybrid fights back with everything it has: vines, acid, spores, speed, that horrible inner jaw. But Avatar State Korra is beyond it. She tears its vines apart with waterbending. She cauterizes its wounds with the fire before it can regenerate. She encases its legs in stone. One final blast, all 4 elements converging into a single point, and the Ivysaur Xenomorph Hybrid comes apart. Ivysaur Xenomorph Hybrid eliminated by Korra. The avatar state fades. Korra drops to one knee, breathing hard, glowing eyes dimming to blue. She's spent. Not depleted. Korra is never depleted, but close. And Mayuri Kurotsuchi is standing exactly where he's been standing for the last 4 minutes. Uninjured, patient, smiling. Beautiful, he says. The avatar state expends enormous spiritual energy. Your reaction time is diminished by approximately 340 milliseconds post-activation. Your core temperature has risen 2.3 degrees. Your left knee is favoring the right by 4 millimeters. Old injury, I presume? Korra forces herself upright. You are worse than the horrible Nazi. Worse? This is a battle royale, isn't it? He draws his sanpakuto. Now, shall we? Korra attacks. A wave of flame, a wall of earth, everything she has left. Mayuri doesn't dodge. He walks through it. Modified body, heat-resistant dermal plating, toxin filtration organs. 3 centuries of preparing for exactly this kind of opponent. The flames wash over him, and he emerges singed but functional. The earth walls crack against his reinforced skeleton. His blade moves once, coated in something Korra's never encountered, something her body has no defense against because it was engineered some minutes ago specifically for her biology. I synthesized this during your fight with the hybrid, he explains as Korra staggers. Her water-bending stutters, her legs feel wrong. A paralytic designed for spiritual conduit nervous systems. Korra falls to one knee, then the other. The avatar state flickers, tries to activate, and Mayuri presses a point on her neck that he identified during her fight. That would be the spiritual nexus point. Disrupted, I am afraid. Korra looks up at him, defiant even now. You're a coward. I am a scientist, Mayuri corrects. Cowardice implies fear. I simply see no reason to fight when I can win. His blade falls. Korra, eliminated by Mayuri Kurotsuchi. Act 5. Victor. The crowd erupts, half in awe, half in outrage, all of them on their feet. The constellation of fallen warriors blazes overhead. Shyguy still confused, Feyd-Rautha glaring at Landa's nearby constellation with murder in his star eyes. Landa looking indignant among the heavens. Cammy combat ready even in death. Ivysaur's ghost light tangled with its hybrid's twisted star. Korra burning brightest of all. Defiant, unbroken, a warrior even in constellation form. Zurubang descends, golden coat billowing. Winner! Mayuri Kurotsuchi! The captain of Squad 12 doesn't celebrate. He's already kneeling beside some of the remains of the Ivysaur xenomorph hybrid, extracting tissue samples with instruments that materialized from somewhere inside his body. The planned xenomorph fusion alone makes this worthwhile, he murmurs. Photosynthetic acid blood, regenerative spore dispersal. The applications are... He trails off, his pupils dilating as new possibilities cascade through his mind. He stands, finally, and looks up at Korra's constellation. The Avatar fought well. Spiritual energy manipulation at that scale. Crude, but powerful. I'll need to account for it next time. A pause. There will be a next time. I'll make sure of it. He walks toward the arena exit, golden eyes already calculating, already planning, already dreaming of new specimens and new horrors and new beautifully terrible creations in the final battle of Season 1, where he will participate against 63 other survivors. Behind him, the cotton candy landscape dissolves. The lollipop trees melt into nothing. The caramel rivers dry to memory. In the void between battles, Zurubang adjusts his golden coat, eyes already scanning infinite timelines for the next roster. 4 hands shuffling through candidates that exist and candidates that might exist and candidates that never should have existed. He smiles, because there's always a next battle.